NBA League Pass is now available at half price. Watch live games anywhere on your computer, phone, tablet, or connected device with the all-new NBA app. LeBron James. Cavs have lost 6 out of 8. We're not better than last year from a personnel standpoint. We're a top-heavy team. I just hope we're not satisfied. It's like when you don't have bodies, it's tough. We're top-heavy. It's me, Kyrie, Kevin Love. It's top-heavy. I'm not singling out anybody. I'm not. Yeah, we won the championship, but you know what? Let's see if we can do something. Challenging Dan Gilbert also to spend more. And Kevin Garnett in Area 21 got Rasheed Wallace hanging with him tonight. Your reaction. Just fill in the blank. LeBron James' comments were blank.
Surprising, because when you're a champion, and fill in this one when you want, you take on whatever the year is giving you. And I'm speaking from experience, right? The year is going to be ups and downs. It's going to be peaks and valleys.
Defending champs.
You got to know that you're getting everybody's best, first off, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, nothing's going to be perfect during the year. You're going to go through ups and downs, and through those peaks and valleys is what you learn about your teammates, what you learn about yourself, what you learn about everybody around you, the organization, everybody.
Well, what they're going through is the same thing. Last year, okay, they were on the way to winning the championship.
Right.
So a lot of the baskets, a lot of the things they were able to get away with from the front office all the way down to the floor.
Right.
But now you're defending champion. So now you are under that microscope just a little bit more. It's focused in a little bit more on you.
You're expected to win.
We're expecting you to do this. We're expecting you to do that all the way from the front office all the way down to the floor.
And on top of that, I want to add on, when champions go through stuff like this, we deal with it in the locker room. We're not talking to the media about anything other than wins. Right.
New age,
It's
social media.
I'm giving perspective here, and that's what I'm saying. We're teaching here. So with that, you deal with it each other, because you know who's going to get us out of this? Each other. No one's coming through this door. The mentality is to take care of it right now, and us.
And address the issue face to face.
And be man about it. So, you know, that's our view on the issue. I feel like Cleveland's a championship pedigree. This type of behavior, this is when you're trying to make the playoffs, and when you're trying to figure out an identity. When you're a champion, you deal with it amongst
this is normal. This is normal that's happening in that locker room. It's just that you're hearing about it now because of the whole social media era, excuse me. But this is normal for the locker room.
You know, let me get into something real, because we're going to hear from our guys in Studio J here in a second. But LeBron James not the only one speaking out, and the Bulls blew a lead against Atlanta last night, and then Jimmy Butler and D. Wade had this to say.
Like, if you don't come in this pissed off after you lose any game, if you're not pissed off that you lost, man, something's wrong.
I don't know how you fix it. It just doesn't mean enough for guys around here to want to win ball games. And, you know, it pisses me off, but I can't be frustrated, and I can't care too much for these guys. They got to care for themselves.
Who cares who's shining? When we're winning, man, everybody looks great. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, man. I don't think that that's happening right now. I really don't.
And then get a load of this, and you got a little glimpse of it in the middle of that sound. But Rajon Rondo, Wade and Butler's Chicago teammate, said, my vets would never go to the media. They would come to the team. My vets didn't pick and choose when they wanted to bring it. My goal is to pass what I learned along. The young guys work. They show up. They don't deserve blame. If anything is questionable, it's the leadership. And there's Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett pictured there in that social media message from Rajon Rondo. So take it from here, KG.
This is what it is. We don't need to mask it or dress it up to be something else. All these subliminals coming out, obviously they have problems in their locker room. I don't know what's going on with Chicago, but I think the beginning of the year, everybody looked at this team like, you know, was trying to figure out, you know, where it was going. Trying to sort it out, right? This is just clean cut. Seems like they having issues in the locker room. Again, whatever goes on with the team needs to stay in the locker room. We talk about the locker room being sacred. It needs to stay sacred. And if you want results, I go to you as a player. I go to you as a teammate and say to you whatever my concerns are. And then we work towards the solution.
So you're saying that, or you feel as though a lot of the guys in the locker room with these respective teams are frustrated?
I say frustrated, but more importantly, when you have a frustrated, you know who understands this more than anybody? You do, because we're doing this together. So you know what? I'm going to come to you. I'm going to question everybody else in this locker room and go through that. I'm not coming out here talking to the mic. I'm not coming out here talking to media, telling them what's going on inside. We're going to figure this out, and when we figure it out, because when we win, everybody holds their hands. Everybody wins.
And to go with that, it's coming back on the NBA. You know, I hate to say it, but the lack of veteran leadership. You know, something like this in our era, we had vets, you know, pop you upside the head or pull you to the side. Hey, young fella, you can't, you know, you know, this and that. And then, like you just mentioned, it's all in-house. But now you're lacking veteran leadership amongst a lot of these young teams where the veteran is the guy on the team who's been in the league 8 years. Right. And, you know, no disrespect to, you know, any of those guys, but hey, you haven't been through enough. You haven't been through the trenches that a lot of Hawks and a lot of other guys have been through. Yes, that championship
mentality, man. This is the difference between champions and good teams. Yep. To me, you can't compare that Chicago team to what Rondo was talking about. That team Rondo talking about in Boston was a championship pedigree built with champions and leaders. I don't know if Chicago has that. I know D-Wade's a leader. I know Rondo's a leader. I don't know anybody else in that locker room, so I can't say who's not a leader, who's not. And I'm not going there. I'm talking about the mentality throughout. Because when the leader has a problem, he's going to go to everybody, and it's going to be the issue. Right. And I'm going to put the issue in everybody's hand to speak on it right then and there, and that's called being a man. That's mature. That's a mature locker room.
KG, thank you very much for that take. Let's go here, and I'll ask you, Chuck, with Tiso on the clock. Same kind of question I asked KG. LeBron James' comments were blank.
Inappropriate. Whiny, all the above. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they have given him everything he wanted. They have the highest payroll in NBA history. He wanted J.R. Smith last summer. They paid him. He wanted Shumpert last summer. They bought in Kyle Korver. He's the best player in the world. Does he want all the good players? He don't want to compete. He is an amazing player. But this notion, they're the defending champs, and for him to be trying to hold anything over Dan Gilbert's head, and I love all these wild punk-ass reporters on television who's afraid to call out LeBron. LeBron's a great player and a great guy, but this notion that he's got to have all the best players on his team. He's got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. He wants everybody. He don't want to compete. He want to be the favorite all the time. It just pisses me off that a guy that great don't want to compete.
His comments were what, Kenny?
Inappropriate. And
you stole his answer.
Yeah, it was inappropriate. And
you cheated off my test. That's why he's successful today.
But I'll tell you what. Everyone has his perspective. This is our perspective. But we can't understand your perspective when you are the best player in the world. We can't understand your perspective when you have 2 All-Stars. We just can't understand it. So it's like the guy who says, well, you know, I got a Lamborghini, I got a Bentley and a Ferrari, but I need an everyday car, man, to get. We can't understand that perspective, man. I'm sorry. You have 3 of the best cars in the world. So, and you need an everyday Chevy to get you around, a U-Haul things around. We can't have sympathy for you. You could have that perspective, but we can give you no sympathy when you are LeBron James, the best player in the world, with all of those tools, top-heavy tools. We cannot have any sympathy. That's my understanding of it.
Shaq.
His comments were inappropriate, but Chuck, don't ever say LeBron doesn't want to compete. Does he need all the good players on this team to win? Yes. You know, it's inappropriate because I think in a professional manner he could have went upstairs. You know, they have great history, they have some bad history, but you know the history was rekindled. He should have went upstairs.
But you don't think there's something wrong with even wanting more?
No, let me
like
finish.
from where you are
not.
now. You don't think there is something fundamentally wrong?
Something fundamentally
like with saying that he wants more.
You played for a team that had Big 4. You forgot about that. You, Akeem, Scotty.
First of all,
it doesn't matter.
That wasn't even close.
It doesn't matter.
No, it's not even close.
It doesn't matter.
We were all old men way past our prime.
It doesn't matter.
This guy just won the championship. He got a young Kyrie Irving and a terrific Kevin Love. And
but it takes more than that to win the championship.
They just won the championship. What do you mean it takes more?
Okay.
They just won the championship.
First of all, you know nothing about going back to back. I do and Kenny do. You listen. Teams are coming at his head. They need more. They need a big shot Bob. They need a guy like Kenny Smith. They need a playmaker like LeBron said. It's only inappropriate because he went to the media. He should have went to Dan Gilbert and said, hey, I need help, boom, boom, boom. And they should have had a private conversation. But don't ever say LeBron don't want to compete.
Hey, listen, he says he need help. Listen, he's the best player in the world. He's got plenty of help. Why don't he take it?
He's looking at, don't you think, looking at Golden State and saying, boy, they added Kevin Durant.
But that's none of his business, Ernie.
I know, but don't you think...
You want to be the GM for every team in the league now?
I'm just saying, don't you think that provides his view of where Cleveland is and their chances of repeating...
Cleveland's done everything. Ernie, they got the highest payroll in the league. They don't have any tradable parts.
I'm just trying to say why LeBron might be looking at that as saying, he says, we're not as good, and they're better than they were.
He doesn't have that right, because what Kevin Durant did was not ordinary. That was extraordinary. That doesn't happen in our lifetime. That's the first time that's happened in basketball lifetime, where a guy who was on a team that was up 3-1 and was about to go to the NBA Finals goes to the team that beats them. That doesn't happen. So you cannot compare what Golden State has to what the world has. LeBron James, regardless, is the best player in the world, the most difficult player to guard at this stage of his career.
But he has a right
to... We cannot have any sympathy for you.
And
we can't understand your perspective.
Let me say one thing,
That's
too.
all. Looking for you. We're not saying that right or wrong.
Let me tell you something, Ernie.
But when you announce it to the media, you are looking for...
First of all, we don't even know what's going to happen in the finals. But if LeBron James is able to beat the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs, his legacy is going to grow through the roof. But this notion, listen, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the highest payroll in the NBA.
I'm granting you that. I understand that.
But Ernie, this ain't like a 7-Eleven. You can just go in and buy anything. They're trying to make trades. They got lucky getting Kyle Korver. Like, Kyle Korver's a good player. They gave up Mike Dunleavy, who wasn't even playing. But this ain't like you can just say, hey, let me go get this player here, there. They got the highest payroll in the league. They paying $40, $50 million in luxury.
If they were under the cap, he might have a point. But when you're the highest paid team in the NBA.
By far.
You don't have a leg to stand on when you make that comment. Now, you could say, we need to make our young guys who are here, we need to get them ready quicker and figure out a way, because you have no movable income and movable parts because you are the highest paid team. You did everything that you could do. You spent the most.
And that's why I said he should have had that conversation with Dan Gilbert instead of going to the media.
Okay.
And that's the only problem we have with it, Shaq.
No, you're saying he don't want to compete. Do he want to have the best player? Yeah, he want to have the best player.
We all want the best players. But he's the defending NBA champion.
And
they act like they don't have a chance. They have a chance. He's the best player in the world.
That's okay, and they need better players.
Let's switch gears to the Chicago. Let's switch gears to the Chicago situation. Could things be any worse in that locker room right now? You have Butler and Wade after the game, and then you have Rondo the next day seemingly taking shots at those guys.
He did. He took shots.
Yeah. I mean,
but first of all, Rondo was 100% correct. You know, those two guys, one guy's won championship, one guy's a good player. It's easy to blame everybody else instead of trying to make those guys around them better. Ernie, they have blown 2 10-point leads with 2 minutes to go with Wade and Butler. They have to take some responsibility for that. This is very simple to me. Dwayne Wade has been a hell of a player. He's an aging superstar. Miami did not want to pay him. They let him go. He thought it'd be a great story, him going back to Chicago. They stink, and he wants to get out. That's plain and that's simple.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Chuck, and I agree with Rondo, honestly, because you look at, I played with one of the best players ever played, Hakeem Olajuwon. When he was frustrated at one time at the team, he called out a guy in the locker room. He said, Adrian Caldwell, if you don't come to practice early with me and play me one-on-one, we know you don't want to play now. We know you don't want to play. What happens? The next 15 days, him and Adrian Caldwell playing one-on-one every day. Adrian starts getting to the lineup. A lot of times when guys are talking into the microphone, as Kevin said it, I felt like I was on Kevin Garnett's team, and I'm listening. I got a bird's-eye view of what he says to his team. That was probably the best Area 21 I've seen. But the fact that he comes in and able to say it to all you got to do is walk over. Hey, Chuck, man, I got a problem. You're not passing the ball out to double team. But when you go into the microphone and say it, it's almost like a cop-out, and it's a little cowardly because you don't want to face the music. It almost feels cowardly to your teammates when you do that first, when you don't do that last. Now, if you've done that and you've gone through all of these routes, and you're like, I've talked to him, I went here, I've talked to management, I've talked to coaches. We're not ready to play. That's a whole different story. And I think it creates a better environment and it sends a better message.
Ernie, I've did both. I have player-only meetings. We fight in the locker room. I called them out in the media. I think it's a test. I think the problem has started because Rondo is having problems with the coaching staff. That right there can split the locker room a little bit. And then, I don't like to call out coaches, but I think this is the wrong coach for that type of team. You need a special individual with certain leadership qualities to get everybody to come together.
Jesus.
Was it good? Was it bad?
Just Jesus. That's the only way that team going to be good. You got Benny Hinn.
Yeah, you're right.
Jimmy Swaggart. Only God can help that team. They awful.
Back with more in just a moment. The Mavs and Thunder
Reverend Ike.
at the top of the hour here on TNT. There he is, 23 triple-doubles and an all-star reserve in the Western
Ernest
Conference.
Angley.
Russell Westbrook and the Thunder playing host to the Mavs.